Hello and heartily welcome to a new Docusnap video tutorial. Today we will talk about Docusnap's IT concepts, and that's really super exciting because IT concepts are what most people probably understand by IT documentation. Documents that take a look at the IT network from all possible angles using prose text, lists, diagrams, maps, and so on. And how Docusnap really saves us a lot of time in creating and updating these IT concepts we'll now take a look at. Operating manuals, emergency manuals, restart plans, disaster recovery plans, etc., etc. You've probably heard all this before, and it all belongs in a good and complete IT documentation. To do this, it is so important that you inventory really all your IT, like all systems, software, services, and so on. And of course, we do this, as always, agent-free with Docusnap. And then we can put this data very quickly and easily in a nice little concept. As you may already know, or as you can look up in our other videos, Docusnap offers you various output options for the inventory data. We have reports, maps, charts, and so on. And you can summarize all of this in the so-called IT concepts. So let's take a look how this works by using the example of an IT emergency manual. Here we are on the start screen of Docusnap. On the left-hand side, we have the different areas of Docusnap. Above here, the interactive ribbon bar, and here our data explorer. For an IT concept, we need inventory data, of course. If you do not have this data yet, it is best to carry out an initial scan. Docusnap then scans your entire network and documents it. For our IT concept we want to create, I change to the documentation area right here, and in the data explorer we can find the point concepts, and by clicking new I can create a new concept. Now we get a small pre-selection because we have already prepared the most important manuals and maps for you. For our example, I select the emergency manual, and on the right you can see now a predefined register which we have created based on our many years of experience. We are now giving the IT emergency manual a name, and by clicking on Create, the template will be loaded and the concept editor opens. The editing options in the ribbon bar are probably familiar to you and should be easy to use. So here below we find our predefined document with the usual informations like title, version, date, and so on. By the way, this is a data field and we can update it by a right click. On the next page, we have a classic clearance with created by, approved by, and a version history. This is followed by the table of contents. We have already prepared the most important points from our experience. But of course, you can customize the whole thing. You can add or delete points if they are not relevant for you. And below here, the actual content starts with scope, application area, and so on. And now let me show you how quickly and easily you can bring the concept to life. For this purpose, I add a dynamic list of all relevant persons under the item Role Division and Responsibilities. To do this, we go to the left via the Inventory, Domain, Organization, and find here the contacts. And easily, via drag and drop, I can input it into our document. This list is now very long and includes contacts that we do not need at this point. Therefore, we open the data element by double-clicking on it and can then adjust it. The first thing I do is delete all unnecessary information so that only the data we really need remains. But now I don't really like the arrangement yet, so I move the fields so that I can read everything properly. Now it looks a lot clearer, but still have all contacts in the list. That's why I click here on Filter and filter for our support colleagues. So that looks good now for me. Therefore, I confirm with OK. And that quick, we have included the list in our document. Let's move on to the emergency management. Here we want to insert the affected server systems. The best way to do this is to use the dependencies diagram. We get this again here on the left-hand side under documentation, the domain, IT documentation, and here it is. Again, just drag and drop it, and it's in our concept. Next, we want to get some more maps into our concept. So let's take a closer look at the building infrastructure. We want to know in which room the systems are located and how the racks are equipped. So we get this information in the already known way here on the left. This time under physical infrastructure, choose London, headquarters, ground floor, and here is the server room. And the point documentation, we get a site map. I can put it in here. Okay. And that's how the server room looks like. Additionally, I want to know how this rack looks like. So I open here racks, find my rack, and under documentation again, I get a rack map. Drag and drop. I want to show the connections. And that quick and easy, I get a detailed view of my rack in the server room. That should be all for now. You can of course add any prose text you wish, or as I just showed you, use all dynamic data from our IT inventory, for example maps, reports, diagrams, and so on. What is unbelievably great is that thanks to the Docusnap's automatic and recurring inventory, the most up-to-date data from our network is always available to us. We go back now via close and we save it. Now we find here our just created IT emergency manual. And so that we are always up to date, we can schedule this complete concept with all dynamic data as a recurring job. It is important to select an alternative documentation path. It's best to choose a drive that not only you but also your colleagues can access, so that everyone has access to the latest data. I decide in the next step to export the concept as a PDF file, so I deselect the other ones. Choose our concept below here. And it's very important to take refresh concept before export, though that is really every time up to date, and a versioning of the old concept is also recommended so that no data is lost and you also have a reconciliation of what has changed. In addition, it is also able to send this document to a defined recipient by email each time it is exported. But I don't want that right now, so I go on. And the fourth step, we get a summary as in all Docusnap wizards. And now comes the crucial point, the scheduling. The best way is to time the update and the export of the concepts as soon as an automatic inventory run is completed. I give this job a name, IT emergency manual, and select a recurring execution. In our example, I would like to happen this weekly on Sunday every 11 p.m. With finish, Docusnap now saves this job, and every Monday morning when I come into the office, I have a current concepts available. Your operating manuals, emergency manuals, and so on are much more extensive in reality, of course. But that's exactly why Docusnap saves you so much time and effort. Simply drag and drop the automatically generated dynamic data into your IT concept, set up a recurring job for exporting and updating, and job done. You will never have outdated IT concepts again. I hope you enjoyed this video and would be very happy if you joined us again next time. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.